Alright gamers, welcome to my totally epic pixel art tutorial. I don't know why I'm making- oh man, that is... Okay, so welcome to my totally epic pixel art tutorial. I'm just gonna make this because I want to. Anyways. So I'm gonna... I don't know what you expect, it's a pixel art tutorial. This is going to be for 16-bit textures, for example, for like Minecraft, or if you're using 16 by 16 textures for like a game you're making or something. 16 by 16 textures are pretty versatile. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make probably just like I don't know actually, we're going to be making, I guess, I don't know. Okay, so what you're going to want to do first is, I guess I'll make a gem. I'll make some sort of funky little gem. So what you're going to want to do first is pick your colors. I think a darker red for borders, a slightly lighter red for transition borders. I'll show you what those are. A lighter red for the main, meat of the, thing. A much brighter shine, and a very bright shine. Okay, so, and we'll just, add just white. Okay, so here we have our colors. I highly suggest you get Blockbench for this, because not only can you make textures, but you can also make 3D models and low poly models and this and that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click Palette, and then you're going to want to go to Save Palette, name it, Red Gem. And you're going to want to load your palette, and you're going to want to click it, or, well, the, wait a minute. Oh, okay, don't do what I did. You gotta click Generate Palette, select your texture here, mine's is called Texture. I like to set the merge threshold to 0. This essentially, like, if two colors are, like, to an extent similar on the hexadecimal value, it will merge them into a single color, which I just like. I pick colors, stop telling me what to do. Computer. Okay, so now you'll see you have your palette. You can click and drag to move it around. This is great for organization. So just erase this, and you're going to want to get your dimensions down. I like starting out with just the dark border color, and you're going to want to measure out where... you're going to want to measure out where the center of the texture is. Anyways, so... Okay, by the way, I suggest you get used to the hotkeys. Holding Alt will turn on the color picker temporarily, and pressing E will go to the eraser, and then pressing B will go to the brush. And you can also draw a shape. Gradient tool is great for gradients, but we'll get to that later. Alright, so I'm just going to make a simple kind of like gem shard, let's say. So, basically, you gotta really think about what you're doing, so, Now, the thing I've learned when I'm doing pixel art for things I do is that the shape doesn't always have to be uniform. I always have trouble making two uniform shapes because, I just like things when things are uniform. In this case, for a crystal shard, it's probably best if we make it relatively uniform, but this doesn't apply everywhere. So then you're going to want to get your shading in. You're going to want a transition color, so like right here and right here. Then you're going to want your brighter color here. Then you're going to want to get the meat of the texture. Oh yeah, by the way, usually Minecraft items use a palette that consists of 8 different colors. Keep this in mind when you're trying to draw in the Minecraft art style, because, you know, it's just handy to keep in mind. Now, this isn't some sort of crazy Grandmaster tutorial. There's probably better tutorials made by other people, but I'm just, you know, trying to show you how the program in general works. So, what I've done here is I've selected a border color, which is, you know, these colors right here. This is the darkest border, which, as you can see here, is generally used for the underside of textures. Heck, if we take this slightly darker border color, we can do something like this and get away with, like, you know, and then you could do this to add a little bit more shine. I also suggest you kind of, like, zoom out to view your texture, because this is how it'll roughly translate in Minecraft, or whatever you're doing. Depending on, I don't know, it really depends, but, you know, this is good for things like Minecraft, so, yeah, you can do a little bit of this. You gotta be careful with shading like this, because too much can result in not-so-great things. So, what we have going on here is, I use the darkest color for the bottom, and a lighter color for going up along the bottom. You gotta know where your light source is, which in this case, it's coming from this direction. This is where the light is coming from, so it's going to be the most reflective here. You got to think like, you know, when you hold up a piece of glass or something. And, here are the brighter borders, which are closer to the light. And here we have the sheen, which, you know, is the sheen. It's the shiny part. It's reflecting the most light. This is useful for metals and stuff. If it's something like stone, you don't have to do, like, crazy bright, you know, shine. You can just do pretty generic, you know, just slightly lighter, but it doesn't have to be shiny. But generally, in most cases, metals, like gold and diamond, will have, like, shinier parts. Here, you can create multiple... Oh, nope, that's importing textures. Here, you can create multiple textures. We'll name this Gem 2. The reason it's a good idea to always make your own textures for your own work is because, you know, it's just convenient. So, we'll make this one a round gem. This one is going to work essentially the same. We're going to have the brighter border here, or the transition borders here, a brighter border here. We'll fill it up with the meat. Now, the thing is with round gems, what you really want to do is... It really depends on how you want it to look. You know, it's like... It's a major factor in what is done. So here we have, like, you know, essentially what I've done is that this is a far better example. I have used previous border mixing colors as a darker version of the meat of the texture, so that you can, you know, see there's, like, a transition here, obviously, you know, it's like... There's a transition here to bright to, you know, elsewhere. Now, you could go the extra mile and use even more colors in order to make, like, a really shiny pearl. I like this, so I'm gonna keep it. You know, so that's how you would make a sapphire, and the way you would make, something that's, like, I don't know, I'm not too sure, I'm not the greatest at pixel art, I'm just gonna admit it, but, the way you would make, like, emeralds, if you look at emeralds, they have, like, a little sheen. They have, like, little, like, they have depth to them somehow, if that makes any sense. So, what you're gonna want to do is, essentially, divide your gem into, like, pieces and shade them accordingly. So, you know, you take your transition colors, and then you take your bright border color, do this, and then you want to use the brighter meat textures here, meat colors here, and then you're going to want to use the darker transition colors in spots like these. And then for spots like these, you just pop in the darkest color you have. And then you can take a brighter, like, you know, it's very difficult doing textures like this, so hopefully, you know, this serves as a reference for the rest of you. But, yeah, so here we have... It's hard finding colors to do it with correctly sometimes. So here we have the, kind of like borders of the gem. And then, you know, you can have, like, a sheen here, and, you know, replace some of this. Got the sheen. Now, this isn't the best, I will admit, so maybe we, like, you know... And then you want to do lighter, dark textures, if that makes any sense. I realize I may not be explaining this the best, and this is likely going to get, like, approximately 2 views, but, you know, this might help somebody. So yeah, I'm not too sure how to make textures like this, so forgive me if this sucks. I'm gonna be self-aware. So yeah, that's how you make, like, gem textures. Now, in general, I like using palettes because it, helps, like, you know, this is gonna be the palette part. I like using palettes because it helps, like, choose a set of colors. Like, for example... I have this Comet Gem palette that I have for one of my projects. And as we can see here, it's a pretty simple palette. Now, this is more of a palette for a block, so it's not really that good for, you know, general texturing, so... You really gotta be aware of what your palettes are for, and then we got, Comet Stone, which uses, like, grays and more... It leans heavier into grays and blacks, so that, you know, it uses some of its colors for grays and blacks, so that it can have the general stone-like texture. But yeah, palettes are always nice. Just never forget that palettes are good, they are nice, they are great, and I don't care what anybody else says. It just... I find it helps me quite a bit with, general texture making. You know, it just helps. Now, saving images is pretty good. You go to File, and you go to... Well, actually, you don't even do that. This little floppy disk right here, if you click it, it will bring up a prompt to save, and you just make a file path, you know. You make a file path, and then you save it to there. And you can press delete to remove texture, so it doesn't give you a prompt to, which is concerning, so don't accidentally press delete. So yeah, that was my, basic, you know, texture tutorial. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to really show, other than maybe, like, you know, you load palette, you find your, you know, you find whatever your, whatever your palette is, you figure that out. You can... Pressing sort palette isn't always reliable, as we can see with these two. I'm not sure whether you like that, but, you know, you do that, so... Yeah, and, you can also use this selection tool to move things. I'm not sure if right-clicking it allows anything special. There's also fun tools up here, like, invert colors. In case you wanted to invert colors. You can, flip it, you can limit to palette. So if I did something like, oh, wait, have I really been, oh, crap, oh yeah, it has been like 15 minutes. Anyways, so for example, if you do something like, let's see, well, never mind, that's an awful, oh yeah, this is a thumbnail, by the way, for one of my videos. I make them in Blockbench. I'm gonna have to get an actual texture that isn't already in the 8-bit palette. I very commonly draw with the 8-bit palette because it's, you know, just something I do. So let me see if I can find, something. Something. I have nothing. How do I have... How... Okay. I have this. So, let's load the 8-bit palette. And, you know, we got this image here. We go to, image, and we click limit to palette, and it might take a minute for larger images. Because it's like swapping out all the pixels for the nearest thing. And as you can see, it gives it that kind of old retro-y feel. Everything's a little funky looking, as we can see here. You know, all the colors are very different. Except the man himself. As we can see here, it's changed to like some of the reddish colors and stuff. And as we can see, the colors here aren't consistent with the shading because, you know, there's no... A lot of colors don't have close colors, I like to call. For example, let's see, this brown right here. No, we can just... This brown right here doesn't have any close colors. It doesn't have any colors that are too well, like, that can mix too well with it, like, you know, so that's an issue with limiting yourself to the 8-bit palette, but, you know, so that's another thing. When you're making your palette, you want close colors, which is pretty easy to do with the picker, because you just slide, oh, I want a brighter color, oh, I want a brighter color, oh, I want shine, oh, I want slight shine, you know, so that's just a fun little thing you can do. So, yeah, always remember that. I hope this tutorial helped the 2 people who, actually watched this tutorial, and, yeah. I hope this helped the approximately 2 people that actually watched this tutorial. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna... Yeah. Alright, uh...